Hey guys, and welcome to a legendary showdown between two gods of war. On the left hand side we have Chad Thoric, aka Grombrindle, up against King Smoke, who wants all of the beef, bringing the Beastmen forces. Dawi versus Beastmen is generally considered now one of the worst matchups in the entire game. It was always bad, but due to the added chariots, Wargore chariots, Tuskgore chariots, the Dwarfs don't have a good time. But there is one secret tactic, a hated tactic by both friend and foe alike, that the Dwarfs have to resort to sometimes. And that is the Air Corps. People despise the Air Corps, people love the Air Corps, but it's what we've got here today. And we have gyrocopter galore with brimstone guns dotted all the way along. 3 units of them, in fact, plus the Skyhammer with gyrobomber. So the Skyhammer is the Regiment of Renown version, can dish out disgusting amounts of damage. Now, this is one of the main fears of Dawi haters in the universe before the latest DLC dropped. And that's because these Master Engineers, as we can see there's one lurking in the trees here, can now indeed replenish the ammunition on those flying war machines. So excited to see if that does happen with the big old gyro bomber. So for the main battle line, we have Dwarf Warriors and Miners, so relatively cheap and cheerful. Looks like we actually have great weapon Dwarf Warriors, maybe to deal extra armor-piercing damage to chariots and those larger creatures. So he's had to go relatively cheap and cheerful due to the rather expensive Air Corps. But we still have Thunderers as well. We have double Thunderers as well as 2 units of Rangers on the back burner here. Already spoke about the Master Engineer. He's coming with his Flash Bomb and Replenish. No firing ring, which is interesting. He is hiding or inspecting this tree, I'm sure he'll say. But we all know deep down he is hiding, quivering in his dwarvish boots. One person who will not be quivering, though, is Thoric Ironbrow. Look at him go, cheering on his people. Coming in with the Rune of Slowness, as well as the Rune of Speed and Rune of Doom. He has Thoric's Rune Armor, giving him extra armor and flame resistance, and the Master of the Ancient Law is upon him. For the forces of the Beastmen, looks like we have a massive vanguard in the rear. Unfortunately, guessed wrong where the dwarvish forces were going to be. With a load of Centaurs with throwing axes, decent AP, good at taking down Slayers as well. We have Tuskgore chariots, 2 units in fact, as well as some Gore herds and Harpies up in the sky. In the main section of the build, we do have Ungors just dotted all the way along, so relatively cheap with some Gore herds mixed in. We have a Brave Shaman of Wild, no doubt coming on a glorious Tuskgore chariot. They do look very cool. Look at that war paint on them. Coming in with Vile Tide as well as Traitor King. Traitor King is very powerful at the moment. We do have a Wargore indeed on a chariot. Looks like a Razor Gore chariot actually, so spending a little bit more money, getting the more disgusting looking mount, but still going to be a rather nasty foe to deal with. And then we have Torux the Brass Bull, able to bully a lot of the dwarvish leadership, relatively tanky with 130 armor. Yeah, he's a nasty beastie for the dwarvish forces to handle. Luckily though, for the forces here of Thoric, he only has 1 unit of Harpies to contest his Air Corps. I think the thrown axes were meant to do that as well. But personally, I'm a bigger fan of going quite wide of Harpies. Bring like 3 units and Malagor up in the skies, because Malagor really can hunt down gyrocopters really well, because they can't fire whilst running away. They don't have that 360 arc of fire, so they can get in all kinds of problems up against someone as swift as Malagor, who will certainly take them down. But the Harpies are going to have to do for now, and they are getting roasted. All of these boys will want to be shooting into them, try to get them off the battlefield as quickly as possible, and give the airways fully to the Dwarfs. They need this superiority, otherwise they are certainly going to struggle here. They have formed a little bit of a doom box here, hiding down low on the low ground, in fact, turning to face the Beastmen aggressors. The engineer, though, luckily is hidden quite deep in the tree line. Of course, a lot of these are currently hidden from dwarvish view. Harpies have been dealt with, just focus fire down. You can see this weird terrain piece that's actually making some of the gyrocopters go ridiculously high in the air, which will suit them quite nicely, because the Centaurs with thrown axes are going to have even harder time now chasing them down and dishing out that damage. Dwarf Warriors, form lines, form ranks, get ready to take on the onslaught, but those Tuskgore chariots doing a bit of a flank overload on this right-hand side. Thunderers gonna have to be prepared to really start eyeing them up, although at the moment they are currently aiming at Torux the Brass Bull. Not a bad target whatsoever. Minus Blast and Chariots do unleash hell upon the Gore herds. I don't know if it's going to be enough though, as those chariots go straight through, aiming for the Thunderers, who are just getting swarmed right now. Poor little Thunderers, look at their health go drip down there to just about half HP. Luckily, there are rows and rows of Dwarf Warriors, and we have more Thunderers now shooting in, doing some pretty decent damage. Master Engineer is here to support, but all the Rangers, as well as Thunderers, are currently under huge pressure. Luckily, though, for the Dwarfs, the Air Corps has arrived. Big fat flash bomb does go down here, catching both the chariots, and now the gyrocopters can focus down this Brave Shaman, but instead they're going after Torx the Brass Ball. Likewise, not a terrible idea whatsoever. Master Engineer is about to take one of these slowest charges of all time. He's still hugging his beloved tree, and it looks like his disguise has worked well, although he does get rammed over slightly there by some of these Tuskor chariots. Beastmen played doing a good job though, hunting down key targets like the Thunderers, running them over and trampling them under wheel and hoof. Torx Brass Ball, though, not having a good day whatsoever. Being slowed down here by a Rune of Slowness, so not only has he eaten a Flash Bomb, but also Rune of Slowness. Skyhammer is getting his ammunition replenished, getting those replenishments in nice and early, and Torx is suffering. Centaurs trying their best to counter-skirmish, and all across the battle, Beastmen are roaring victorious, running down Dwarfs, forcing them off, but they're starting to lose key targets, and that is simply due to the air pressure here of the Royal Dawi Air Force. Torx the Brass Ball down to just 1,000 HP. He's done some decent work, up to 24 kills, but has been neutered relatively, dead. Not quite dead yet, down to 500 HP, just by the pressure of the gyrocopters and that Skyhammer, which is only on 4 kills, but a loaded damage value dump. Some gyrocopters are exploding though, as the Centaurs do finally find their mark, but with their loss of their leadership, you can see the Dwarfs are rallying, seeing the Beastmen Lord go down. They're like, you know what, lads, I reckon we can actually do this. Goreherd's trying to surround the Master Engineer here. Both Tuskor chariots are rather healthy, need to just cycle down as many units as possible and then allow the Gauls to chase them off the field of battle. Centaurs doing a good job trying to get back Torx, bring him back into the fold and into the battle, and deal with these gyrocopters. Though it does look like Thoric is taking a bit of a pounding here. The Wargore has surrounded them. We also have Tuskor chariots, and Thoric is a relatively tanky boyo though. 3,280 HP. He should be able to hold the Wargore in place long enough for the Skyhammer to dish out the damage, and dish out the damage it has. The Wargore looks like it may indeed actually go down completely here. Yeah, oh my god, yeah, minus 44 leadership. He's probably never going to be returned to the field. Centaurs with Throne Axes have given up on their pursuit of taking down the gyrocopters, instead aiming at Thoric Ironbrow, not a bad target whatsoever. Tuskors are starting to roll dirty into the rear of these Dwarf Warriors. That should be enough here to break them and do some decent damage, but a Flash Bomb goes down, lowering the melee defense of all these troops. Maybe the Dwarf Warriors can hold. Oh, minus 10, minus 12, no. These guys are certainly going to be breaking and running for their lives here. Good, diligent play by the Beastmen player. Uses Ungor-Herds to chase down a lot of the range potential that the Dwarfs still have on the field. But Grombrindle, he is a master of the Dwarvish folk. A true Dwarf Lord through and through, and he's managing this game pretty effectively, keeping the Skyhammer replenished with the Master Engineer. And this is one of the first times I've actually seen the Master Engineer's replenishment come in handy. A lot of people did bring it when it first got into the game, but realistically, a lot of these troops don't use up all the ammunition because they get countered. But luckily, due to his protection and the way he's used the Skyhammer, replenishing his ammo really has come in quite handy. All the Centaurs have bunched up here, going to be taking a Rune of Slowness here, though maybe a bit of a bomb and run could indeed come through. Let's see, is he going to attempt the bomb and run? Centaurs are trying to flee. Rune of Slowness has got them all in a pickle, though. Big blasting shots coming in down on the Centaurs. Nice bomb and run there by the Skyhammer. Thoric, though, is surrounded, down to 1.8k HP. Gore-Herds are dotted all around him, but if the Centaurs get forced off by the gyrocopters, the Skyhammer can simply do a glorious bomb and run over his Liege Lord. Thoric will not mind it whatsoever. He loves the smell of gunpowder in the morning, and it looks like the Gore-Herds are indeed going to be breaking, but not before giving Thoric 1 or 2 more scars to add to his collection. Centaurs trying their best, but there's so much pressure right now on them from this little air core. A few of the gyrocopters were forced off though. The Dwarves were certainly on the back ropes, but they're looking very comfortable right now. Balance of power still pretty even, and Thoric may go down. This could be huge. If Thoric goes down, that allows the Master Engineer to be sniped as well, but a beautifully well-timed bomb run from the Skyhammer saves Thoric, keeps the morale high, and all of a sudden, like that, boom, the game switches on its head. Beastmen forces shatter and run for the hills, and the Dwarfs, once more, still victory from the jaws of uncertainty. Fantastic game, though. I really did think, considering the builds early on, the Beastman player was at quite a big disadvantage. He put on a fantastic display here to make this incredibly close. The damage value on this Skyhammer is going to be disgusting. I can already feel it in my veins. A Pyrrhic victory for the Dwarves and a fantastic game. Well played there to Chad Thoric and King Smoke. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. We are going to get to the damage dealt and damage value of all of the units in just a second, because Oh my god, it is going to be disgusting, particularly on some of these dwarvish units. But before we get to that, if you guys enjoyed, make sure to leave a thumbs up underneath the video. Subscribe for more glorious Total War Warhammer content. We do drop new stuff every single day. And comment down below what you thought of this build. Do you hate a Dawi Air Force? Do you love a Dawi Air Force? I know everyone hates it deep down, but it is rather impressive at the same time, with some good micromanagement. It's not like an auto win, particularly up against all those Centicles with throwing axes. King Smoke certainly put on the pressure, but Grombrindle, with his glorious micromanagement as always, and knowledge of the dwarvish folk, managed to seal victory. So yeah, comment down below what you thought. What was your favourite moment of the battle? Who was your MVP? Or simply yell quack at me. I do love reading through all those comments. There are links in the description to my Patreon if you'd like to support my channel, and Discord if you would want to submit replays to me, get involved with tournaments, events and live streams I host, keep up to date with the channel and chill out with a load of cool people. We've got new players, experienced players, a little bit of everything in the mix. But anyway, to the real reason we're all here, the damage dealt and damage value. Let's pull that nail off, pull the plaster off, rip off the band-aid, whatever you want to call it. First and foremost, Skyhammer. This is what we're all interested in. 162 kills, 18,000 damage dealt, 3,552 damage value. Absolute disgusting work. Assassinating characters, bombing runs to save Thoric. Really glorious play there with the bad boy. The other gyrocopters, 1,000 damage value, 700 and 444. So these ones actually not faring so well. Looks like this one was full health, so maybe it was actually just on the edge, the outskirts of the battlefield and got forgotten about. I'm not too sure. Thunderers just got run over, Rangers just got run over, and the front line, to be honest, just got run over. But it doesn't matter. They held the line long enough to allow the Air Force to actually dish out the damage. Master Engineer, only 500 damage value, but the restocks on the Skyhammer, absolutely priceless. 977 damage value on Thoric, being the true anvil on his Anvil of Doom for the hammer of the Air Corps to strike and beat a pretty tune to. For King Smoke, the Mighty Torx Brass Bulb just got sniped. I do think Malagor is better in this situation, simply due to the fact he could chase the Skyhammer with a couple of Harpies. You get 2 Harpies, you get Malagor. Harpy on each gyrocopter, 1 on each, and then Malagor will chase, kill the Skyhammer, then he can come and assist with deal with all the rest. And then the rest of the Dwarf build would indeed get run over. But despite this, the Brave Shaman, 873 and 781 on the War Gore, both performing pretty solid. And it's not going to be crazy damage value across the board for most of these units. You can see the standout here, 928. But they did their job. They got rid of all of the ground force as quickly as possible. Tuskor Chariots, 742 and 576 damage apiece. Centicores, though throwing axes, javelins, and kind of blowpipes and other stuff aren't very good at anti-air because of their arc of fire compared to something like a handgunner, they still did really good. 1,000 damage value, 647 and 626, and not too shabby. Unfortunately, the poor Harpies simply weren't enough to deal with the might of dwarvish engineering. Anyway guys, hope you enjoyed this one. Until next time, peace, peace. And as always, stay awesome.